How are we doing, everyone? Welcome back to today's video. Now, today's video is going to be an how-to video. How to do a full service on a Baxi Duo Tec or its other variants, whether it's a pot and gold or a main, whatever. It's probably one of my favorite boilers to work on. It's the same boiler I've got in my own house as well. So I'm pretty familiar with it. I'm quite familiar working around the boiler as well. So I'm going to show you how I do a service. Obviously, everyone's got their own ways of doing things. This is just the way I do it. So if you find it useful, please drop it a like, drop a comment, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you all on the next one. Enjoy the video. Welcome to today's video. So behind me, I've got a Baxi Duo Tec boiler. So you can see I've already taken the case off and I'm going to be carrying out full service on this boiler. This video is going to be a how-to video, how I do a full service on this boiler. It may not be how you do it, but it's just how I carry out full service on these boilers. You may learn something from it. You may have something to add to it. If you do, please drop a comment below. Let's get to it. First things first, I know it's not mandatory, but whenever I'm working on a gas appliance, I always start with a tightness test. So I'm going to go ahead and do that first. Luckily, the gas meter is just here. So that's all good. It's going track pipe, it's going up, and then that's going to be feeding back down to the boiler wherever it's coming from. So let's start with good old tightness test. Earth bonding's on there, which is all good. ECV falls to off, it's secure. Let's hope there's no drop. Now, because the boiler is the highest point, I'm not going to touch the isolation valves on the flow and returns. Normally I would if the boiler was on the ground floor, but we are in a flat and everything else is low level. These isolation valves are prone to leaking as well, so I try to avoid touching them where I can. But first things first, I'm going to drain it out. So I've got about just over a bar of pressure in there, so let's I don't think that drain off's ever been opened. Might have to just get my set of grips onto it. Oh, come on. No. Right. Let's get the good old baby cobras out. Probably my most utilized set of grips. That should just be able to sneak in there. Trying to do this one-handed, probably not going to work. Yeah, I think I'm going to need two hands. Can I do it with one hand? Come on. Here we go. Oh, no. Come back, grips. Where they gone? This is embarrassing. Right, I think I've cracked that enough. There we go. All right. Water quality, not too bad. Well, good actually. It's nice and clear. So once that's drained down, first thing I'm going to do is recharge that expansion vessel and make sure that that's all good. It is full, rock solid. So we'll get that recharged first once it's finished draining down, and then we'll start doing the combustion side as well. Right, we're drained down. Now the easiest way I find of getting to the expansion vessel connection there, remove the igniter, and you've got the, I think that's just called a rain collector or something, and then move out the way. So you've got a screw here, you've got a screw just above here. So under these two screws, that will pop out. Let's see if I can do it. Oh, awesome. Yeah, so yeah, just under these two screws. Let me do that because I don't want to drop the screws as well, and then I will come back to this. Right, hopefully this light helps. It's not creating too much shadow. I'm just trying to see where's the best place for me to hold the camera. So taking the two screws out, you can see that just drops down. Now this rain collector, I literally just pull it out of the way like that. Gives you a bit more room to get to expansion vessel. So now get to that Schrader cap. Leave that up here. Let's make sure it's not split. No, there's no water coming out. There's a bit of air, tiny bit of air. Now, I always recommend getting an angled adapter. It just makes life easier to get onto that Schrader valve connection. Obviously I'm trying to do this with one hand, so it's a little bit more trickier. There we go. That one there. That's not too tight because you want to be able to get it off as well. Right, that's on there. Let's get this expansion vessel recharged. Right, so angle adapter, got the little quick release adapter for my compressor. 0 bar in there, so let's pump that up. Let's see, that's just going to start flying out of there. This AAV as well. Right, that's been leaking, so that's going to need replacing. Right, I opened that AAV and it started leaking, so I've got a new one. So that's now sucking in air, getting rid of the rest of it. So got a new AAV for there and got a new one for the top there as well. So get both the AAVs changed over. I brought a set of electrodes up as well because I haven't taken this out, so I'm not sure what the electrodes are going to be like at the moment, but if they need replacing, got those as well. Flame rectification on these, they don't usually warp. The electrodes normally do. It's on the Eco Elites that you get the flame rectification. Literally it warps and it just sort of spins completely around or something. But whilst I've got this drained out, I'm going to do that AAV, then I can get the boiler filled back up again and then start working on the combustion side. Right, expansion vessel, love that sound. So that's full of air now. Now that is the first one I'm going to do, so there's nowhere for me to stick this camera, so let's switch to the baby brother and get some action shots. Right, that's one AAV, and the other one, that's the most annoying thing, I can't get it to face forward. I tightened it as much as I could so that it faces in a direction where I can see if it was to leak again, but hopefully we shouldn't have any more problems now the expansion vessel's been recharged as well. Part numbers, I will put them in the description below, but this one is for the one that goes above the pump. So that's part number there, 248043. I'll remember to put that in the description as well. And this is the AAV for the heat exchanger, 5122330. Again, I'll put this in the description as well, so if you need, you can get them. One thing I don't understand is it comes with a 3/4 inch fiber washer. That's like a 3/8 connection, so don't know why that comes with it, but that will go in my bag. You can never have too many fiber washers. So now let's shut the drain off and top up the pressure again, make sure we don't have any leaks, and then we can start on the combustion side. Right, we are up to pressure and we have no leaks, which is all good. That AAV is looking good. More importantly, top one is looking good. Right, so pop this all back, push this back, and then let's get the burner out and have a look at the main heat exchanger. Right, so when you're working on the combustion side, you don't actually need to isolate the gas because we're going to be undoing this nut from here, and that's after the gas valve. So because of that, you don't have to worry about gas coming through because the gas valve is obviously going to be shut whilst there's no power going to it. So undo this nut, we'll start undoing the electrode connections. This one, sometimes I find if it's quite hot, as in where it's been hot, you can just disconnect it from here. We're trying to do this with one hand, but I don't know if I'll be able to. Trying trying to do a lot with one hand and it doesn't seem to be working. All right, let's just do it like this. Right, that's disconnected because yeah, sometimes I find that rubber sheath can split there, so if I don't need to remove it, just undo that so then you can take the whole thing up. One thing to remember, now this has caught me out before, so I don't want it to catch you guys out. Remember this little silicone tube where it's connected is connected on the back, because you've got nipple on the side here as well and you've got nipple on the back. When I've put this back together before, or when I first started doing strip down services on these boilers, I forgot one time where that tube went, put it on there and the boiler kept locking out, and once it's in position you can't really see that there's a tube at the back there unless you know it's there. And it's only where I looked through my videos and I was like, ah, that's where it was. So yeah, you want to pop that tube off from the bottom. Don't put it back on there. Let's undo this nut here. There we go. Undo that nut. And then you've got 4 10mm bolts on here, so we'll go ahead and get those undone. Now when we do take this out, there is an injector inside here. We call it a top hat because it looks like a top hat. I'll show you when we take it out. Just make sure when you put it back, you put the injector back in as well. Otherwise, boom, you're going to get too much gas going in. So yeah, that will pop out of there once I've undone all this. Don't forget to undo the fan electrical connection as well, because that's what I just done. And I was trying to pull it out and I forgot that I left them in. So you got, one of them is that's your power cable. That's your speed connector. So you've got 2 connections there. So undo that and that just falls out. And this is the little injector that I was telling you about. So it's called a top hat because if you look at it like that, it looks a bit like a top hat. So just make sure when you put the burner back in, this slides back up into the fan assembly, otherwise it will let too much gas through. Now luckily I've got this 3/4 inch fiber washer here because I'm going to be replacing that fiber washer. All right, that's gone there. Heat exchanger doesn't actually look in too bad nick, considering this is BTG07. I don't think this is 2007. I don't know how these serial numbers on these are, but considering its age, I don't think it's 2007. It won't be 2007 because this is much newer than 2007. I don't know how to read it off this serial number because normally it's the first 2 digits, but this is definitely not 2007. It's newer than that, but yeah, heat exchanger is pretty good. So we'll give that a clean up and then pop it all back together. Had a look at the electrodes. Electrodes are fine. They're not warped, luckily. Flame rectification lead is fine as well. This burner seal is still intact in good nick, so that doesn't need replacing. So yeah, it's going well so far. No real issues. Let's get this heat exchanger cleaned out and then we can pop everything back together and carry on doing our tests. So there we go, that's all been cleaned out inside. So where I can, I do try and take the re-insulation pad out just to stop the brushes from damaging it. So that's out there. It's literally just held in with a small 2.5mm Allen key screw. So get the insulation pad back in, screw that back in, and then put everything back together, and then 26/9 checks. Right, electrodes and burner all been just cleaned out with a wire brush. Remember, don't forget this. So I'm not going to be able to do this one hand because I need to, basically it goes in the bottom there, and you need to hold that in whilst you're putting the burner back in. So I'm going to try and set the camera up and do it in a way so that I can show you what I mean, because otherwise once that's in, you're not going to be able to get that back in. So this has to sit inside there as you put it in, and then new fiber washer as well
for that seal, so that's in there. Right. See, I've got to keep that in there, although that's going to keep trying to fall out. So you want to kind of need to drop that nut down as well. There we go. So that slides in. Also got to make sure it goes on to the bolts. Fiber washers in. Now I always get this nut on first, because this comes in at a bit of an angle. It can be a little bit fiddly, and obviously the last thing you want to do is cross thread anything on here. So it's literally luck of the draw. Sometimes it goes on nice and easy, like it has today, and sometimes it can be a real pain. Right, so I'm going to nip that up, pop the fan connections all back in. So that's in there, that's in there. Flame rectification lead, where's the other end of that gone? That's there. Now I try and route this above when I'm putting it back together, because when that condense hose splits, water gets in here and it takes this out. So I was trying to reroute it slightly higher. Now the burner nuts, unlike the Vaillant, you don't have to replace them. I think with the Vaillant ones, because they're with a nylock or something like that, and they give you new burner nuts along with the burner seal. But with the Baxis, you can reuse the same burner nuts. So I'm just gonna get this all put back together, tighten everything up, and then we'll see what else is left to do. Right, final bit on this. Now this is probably the only part of this boiler that I'm not keen on, the condense trap. So it's literally, it's like a nut that you got to undo, but you've got to keep a plumb tub or something underneath it, because it literally just goes everywhere. I'm gonna have to probably get, I don't know if that one fit. Is that too big? No, it's too big. Right, let me get a little set of grips, crack that open, and then literally as soon as you undo it, the water just comes straight down. So you always keep a little plumb tub underneath it to catch all the water. Right, here we go. So I've just used the little grips to loosen that, and you'll see what I mean. As soon as I undo that, it just sort of wants to just spill everywhere. That's the only thing I don't like about this boiler. The condense trap is a really poor design. The rest of it, yeah, I love it. My favourite boiler. Let's see how much. I don't think there'll be much. Let's see. Yeah, condense trap. It's not that bad. So wash that out, give that a clean up, and pop it all back. Right, what did I forget? It's what I said at the beginning of the video. That tube, forgot to put it back, didn't I? Luckily, I haven't turned the boiler on, but I just remembered. Now, where's that nipple at the back? There we go. So we want to make sure there's no kinks in this tube as well. So you can see that's all on there now. Now with the gas off, I'm going to first, might as well just test the safety devices. So turn the boiler back on, give it a demand for hot water, and we're just going to let it do its thing. It's going to try and run, I think, 5 times, and then that should go to E133. So we'll try and let it do its thing, and then we'll just make sure safety devices are working. There we go. That's locked out to E133. So we know safety devices are working. Now I'm going to put the gas back on, reset the boiler, and I'm going to let it fire up again. But I'm going to be using the Top Tez gas sniffer. This is going to be one of the, if I haven't done this already, this is going to be one of the prizes for the 10K giveaway. So let's first reset that. Okay, just going to put the gas back on. Okay, gas is back on. Working pressure and gas rate hopefully shouldn't be an issue because it's so close to it. Now let's, well, do you know what, because I've drained it down and filled it back up, I don't actually want to run the hot water straight away. I'm going to pop it into service mode. So yeah, let's show you how to put it into service mode. So I put both dials to 12 o'clock, then the hot water dial, you're going to do it to 3 o'clock and back again twice within quick succession, so like this. And that should say SF. There we go, service mode. Now the heating dial is what basically tells you whether it's in minimum or maximum mode. So when it's at 12 o'clock, it's going to run at minimum rate. It should be running at minimum rate. Ramp down. It should be. Oh, there we go. Okay, I think I had to turn that a bit. So we'll leave that on minimum just to allow it to get any air out of it. Obviously, we've got the air vent on top of the boiler as well, which helps. Now, I only noticed when I was doing that, there's actually the pipework isn't going down, it's going up. And then I think it drops down to each of the radiators. So we'll leave that on there for now. But whilst it is running, let's just run this around to make sure that we don't have any gas leaking out of there, because that is the only gas connection that I've disturbed. It's looking good. Now I will quickly put it onto maximum just to check, because obviously then it'll be pulling more gas. If that was leaking, that would be picking up readings straight away, which luckily it's not. So I'm happy with that. And in fact, whilst it's on maximum rate, let me just go and start doing my gas rate. This is one thing. I've got the analyzer purging, so we can do our maximum rate check as well and see if the gas valve needs any adjustment. So I use the Sprint mobile app to do my gas rates. So let's see, 4.24. I'm going to do it at 4.248. Start. Cool. Right, let that run for 2 minutes. Do my maximum test point. I think that's about to reach temperature. As soon as it gets to 80, it's going to lock out. So let me do this quickly. Right, just doing my minimum rate. So that's all good. I had to do the max rate quickly because it was getting to temperature fairly quickly because it's a very small circuit. But taking a picture of the maximum rate. So don't know if it'll come up on here, but 48 ppm, 8.86 CO2 and 0005 on the ratio. Gas rate 24.86, 24 kilowatt boiler. I said that's pretty close, so that's all good. Minimum rate's looking good. CL's literally about to hit 0. CO2 is 8.11 and ratio's 0, so that's all fine. I always do my flue integrity check first whenever I'm testing, because if there's a split in the flue, you want to know that straight away, because that's basically going to end it there. You can't really proceed any further until that's been sorted out, because your combustion readings will be all over the place. So I did my flue integrity check first. That was all fine, 20.9% oxygen. Minimum maximum is all fine. Safety device has been checked. Gas rate's been done. So that's our 26.9 checks, all good. The only thing I've got left to do is obviously where the flue's going up into a void, there's a couple of inspection hatches. Just make sure they're all good. I'll pop my head out the balcony, make sure the flue terminal is all good as well, which it should be. It's pointing down a bit, but yeah, we've got all open space here, so no real issues there. So yeah, just gonna wrap this up now, issue the service certificate, and we are out of here. Hope you all find this one useful. Don't forget to like and subscribe. There's going to be plenty more videos coming out of this. If you like these how-to videos, I've done a few more on other different boilers, different jobs as well. So check it out. And yeah, hope you guys find it useful. Thanks for watching.